Madam Chair.
Good morning and welcome to this meeting of the Gaming Facility Location Board. I am Vicki Bean, the chair of the board, and I'm joined by incredible colleagues, board members Terrell Brown, Cindy Ruba Estrada, Marion Phillips, and Greg Reimers. Before we begin, I want to note that this is a meeting and not a hearing. All attendees are expected to remain respectful and courteous. Disruptions will not be tolerated. Anyone who interrupts the meetings may be asked to leave. So with that request and expectation, let's move on to the agenda.
New York State Racing Parimutuel Wagering and Breeding Law, Section 109A, provides that the Gaming Facility Location Board shall consist of 5 members appointed by the New York State Gaming Commission. 3 members having been appointed by the Commission affords the board an ability to establish quorum and undertake action. This present meeting of the board is now called to order. Establishment of a quorum requires, as I said, 3 members to be present. Please indicate your presence when your name is called. Vicki Bean?
Here.
Terrell Brown?
Here.
Cindy Ruby Estrada?
Here.
Marion Phillips?
Here.
Greg Reimers?
Here.
The record will reflect that a quorum of qualified members is present, thus enabling transaction of business. Chair?
Thank you, Rob. Minutes of the board meeting on November 17th, 2025 were distributed to members in advance. Are there any edits, corrections, additions? No. Please have the record reflect that the minutes are hereby accepted as circulated and not as circulated. Now on to item 3, consideration of the selection of applicants to apply to the Gaming Commission for gaming facility licenses. I'd like to start with an overview of how we came to be here today. In 2012, an amendment to the New York State Constitution was proposed to authorize up to 7 casino facilities statewide. Following the required constitutional process, passage by 2 successively elected legislatures, and approval by a public referendum, the amendment was approved. The enabling legislation directed that the first 4 gaming facilities would be located in upstate regions, primarily to address distress in rural counties and provide funding for education. That competitive siting process was overseen by a prior gaming facility location board. In 2022, the legislature established a new siting process for the remaining 3 licenses. While similar to the earlier process, this framework included significant new prerequisites. First, applicants were required to obtain approval from a community advisory committee. And second, applicants had to secure all necessary zoning and land use authorizations before the board could consider the application. In January of 2023, this board issued a request for applications for commercial casino licenses. Throughout 2023 and 24, this board responded to hundreds of applicant inquiries. In June of 2025, the board received 8 applications for new casino developments or expansions of existing video lottery gaming facilities. In July of 2025, community advisory committees were convened for each proposed project. Committees held multiple public hearings, reviewed written public comments, and voted on whether each application had sufficient community support to move forward. A 2/3 affirmative vote was required to allow an applicant to proceed. 4 applicants, Bally's Bronx, Hard Rock Metropolitan Park, MGM Yonkers, and Resorts World New York City, received approval from their respective committees and submitted evidence of zoning compliance and completion of environmental review. The 4 remaining applicants were required to file additional materials by October 14th. 3 submitted the required supplemental documents. MGM Empire City subsequently withdrew its application. While the upstate process emphasized economic development, this process statutorily placed greater emphasis on community benefits and the creation of quality, livable wage jobs for diverse and local workforces. Raising license and tax revenue remained a significant objective. Revenue generated from these facilities will benefit the Metropolitan Transit Authority, public education, state and local governments, and problem gambling education and treatment programs. Indirect economic benefits, including job creation and local procurement, were also central considerations. The board approached these decisions with utmost seriousness. The remaining applicants, Bally's Bronx, Hard Rock Metropolitan Park, and Resorts World New York City, were subject to extensive and thorough evaluation. Board members reviewed each application closely, consulted with subject matter experts, and applied their collective and individual expertise to reach determinations that best serve local communities, the broader region, and the state of New York. The statutory criteria fall into 4 categories: economic development, economic activity, and business development factors at 70%, local impact siting factors at 10%, workforce enhancement factors at 10%, and diversity framework factors at 10%. The board weighed all of the criteria that you see on the screen. No single factor was determinative. Regarding the 3 finalists, which we'll discuss in alphabetical order, let me turn first to Terrell Brown to discuss our findings regarding Bally's Bronx.
Good morning. Bally's Bronx is an integrated casino located at Bally's Golf Links at Ferry Point in the Bronx. The project represents $2.3 billion in capital investment and is projected to open by mid-2030. Key project components include a casino featuring 3,500 slot machines, 210 table games, and 40 poker tables. A 507-room hotel, approximately 22% of which will be suites. 2 parking garages with a combined 4,661 spaces. A 2,000-seat event center, a Jack Nichols design golf course and clubhouse, and a nightclub, a spa, more than 10 food and beverage venues, including a rooftop bar and restaurant and food court, and 4 retail shops. The co-location with a golf course offers distinct experience. The board assessed Bally's commitment to local hiring, procurement from Bronx businesses, diversity, sustainability, and a net present value in community benefits of $765 million, including the Community Benefit Fund, transportation improvements, public safety support, and park enhancements.
Thank you. Cindy Ruby Estrada will discuss Hard Rock Metropolitan Park.
Hard Rock Metropolitan Park is a $5.3 billion integrated casino resort and entertainment district in Queens, adjacent to Citi Field with a projected June 2030 opening. Key project components include a casino featuring 5,000 slot machines, 375 game tables, and 30 poker tables. 2 hotel towers with 1,000 total rooms, approximately 39% of which will be suites. Several parking garages with 13,112 spaces. A 5,650-seat Hard Rock Live entertainment venue with capacity of up to 5,650 guests. More than 15 restaurants and bar outlets, retail offering, and 25 acres of new public open space. Hard Rock Metropolitan Park would create thousands of construction and permanent jobs and unify an already vibrant entertainment area. Its commitment to local hiring, small business procurement, workforce diversity, and targeted hiring of unemployed and underemployed residents were important considerations. The board also weighed its proposed community benefit of $761 million, which included investments in transportation and pedestrian safety improvement, extensive open space amenities, social service contribution, and community impact funding, in addition to board-weighed sustainability measures, the applicant experience, and projected revenue generation.
Thank you, Cindy. Marion Phillips will discuss Resorts World New York City.
Thank you, Vicki. Resorts World New York City is a $3.3 billion expansion and conversion of the existing video lottery terminal facility in Queens into a full commercial casino. Key project components include a casino featuring at least 4,635 slot machines and 534 gambling tables, one new hotel, and modifying existing hotel for a total of 1,963 rooms, approximately 6% of which will be suites, a 7,000-seat event center, a branded day club, and more than 20 food and beverage outlets, including existing venues. Resorts World could deliver revenue earlier than any other applicant, potentially beginning in 2026, and propose the highest tax rate. The project promises substantial job creation, continued commitment to local and diverse hiring, and the largest gaming floor among applicants. Its community benefits package includes at least $25 million annually for a workforce housing fund and $25 million annually for a technological-based education and vocational training innovation campus, as well as up to $5 million per year through the Resorts World Gives program.
The board determined that awarding all 3 licenses best advances the state's long-term economic, fiscal, and community objectives. Accordingly, the board selects Bally's Bronx, Hard Rock Metropolitan Park, and Resorts World New York City.
Shame on you! 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 Shame on you!
Thank you.
Shame on you!
Thank you.
Shame on you! 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 Shame on you!
Accordingly, the board selects Bally's Bronx, Hard Rock Metropolitan Park, and Resorts World New York City for submission to the Gaming Commission for licensure consideration. Greg Reimers will discuss our rationale for that selection. Greg?
The downstate market is among the strongest in the nation, supported by population density, income levels, and tourism. The sizable population within a 2-hour drive will support sustained visitation, supplemented by domestic and international travelers. Each proposal presents a strong competitive positioning based on brand strength, amenities, and facility design. Using conservative assumptions, the board's consultants projected incremental annual gaming tax revenue of nearly $1 billion in 2036, totaling approximately $7 billion between 2027 and 2036, plus $1.5 billion in licensing fees. Additional state and local taxes, property, sales, hotel occupancy, and others are projected to generate approximately $5.9 billion. Problem gambling programs are projected to receive approximately $10.7 million annually. No alternative scenarios produce comparable revenue or fiscal benefits. Each project proposes to deliver substantial community benefits, including infrastructure and transit improvements, local business partnerships, and significant commitments to community-based organizations. Applicants made ambitious commitments to workforce diversity, community investment, and local unionized hiring. The board emphasizes the need for the applicants to fully deliver on all of these commitments. The board had concerns about some commitments and has laid out these concerns along with more information about our determinations in a formal selection document that will be posted online as soon as is practicable. A resolution has been prepared to formalize these actions. Mr. Williams, would you please read the resolution?
Resolution of the New York Gaming Facility Board to select applicants to be considered for gaming facility licensure by the New York State Gaming Commission. Whereas the New York Legislature passed in 2 consecutive legislatures in 2012 and 2013 concurrent resolutions to amend the state constitution to permit casino gambling, and whereas the people of the state of New York voted to amend Section 9 of Article 1 of the Constitution of the State of New York to permit casino gambling as authorized and prescribed by the legislature. And whereas the legislature passed and the governor approved the Upstate New York Gaming Economic Development Act in 2013, authorizing and prescribing casino gambling in New York State upon an appropriate amendment of the New York State Constitution. And whereas the act authorized up to 4 destination casinos to boost upstate economic development, create thousands of well-paying jobs, and provide added revenue to the state in the defined regions of the state, with one license to each 3 defined regions and a second license to a qualified applicant to be awarded in no more than a single region. Whereas the New York State Gaming Commission established a gaming facility location board as prescribed by Racing, Parimutuel Wagering, and Breeding Law, Section 109A, to select up to 4 applicants following a competitive application process to be considered for gaming licensure. And whereas through a competitive application process, the board recommended and the commission awarded 4 gaming facility licenses to be operated within Zone 2. Whereas Part RR of Chapter 56 of the laws of 2022 amended the provisions of the Act to provide up to 3 additional gaming facility licenses, provided that no more than 3 gaming facility licenses be located in Zone 1. And whereas on January 3rd, 2023, the board issued a request for application to develop and operate a gaming facility in New York State. And whereas on June 27th, 2025, the board received application materials from 8 entities in response to the RFA, and whereas pursuant to subdivision 3 of PML section 1321D, a community advisory committee was established for each applicant to issue a finding on public support of the applicant's proposal, and whereas each community advisory committee held a minimum of 2 public hearings to solicit public comment and accept written submissions of such comments, and whereas 4 of the community advisory committees issued, upon an affirmative vote of at least 2/3 of its members, a finding of public support, and whereas 4 of the community advisory committees disapproved respective applicant through failing to establish by 2/3 vote a finding of public support, whereas only applications receiving a finding of public support from their respective community advisory committee may be considered by the board, 4 applications were advanced to the board, and whereas on October 14th, 2025, 1 of the remaining 4 applicants withdrew its application. And whereas the board is required to evaluate the RFA submissions pursuant to the statutory criteria of PML Section 1321J, and whereas the board is authorized under subdivision 3 of PML Section 1306 to develop additional criteria and assess which applications provide the highest and best value to the state, and whereas the board is required under subdivision 7 of the PML Section 1306 to issue detailed findings of fact and conclusions demonstrating the reasons supporting the decision to select applicants for the commission licensure. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the board evaluated 3 applications based on the statutory criteria of PML Section 1321J and the additional criterion developed by the board under subdivision 3 of PML Section 1306 as to which proposals best fulfill the intent of the Act. Be it further resolved that based on the board's evaluation, the board selects the following applicants to apply to the commission for a gaming facility license: Bally's Corporation, proposer of Bally's Bronx Casino in Bronx County and the City of New York. Queens Future LLC, proposer of Hard Rock Metropolitan Park Casino in Queens County and the City of New York. And Genting New York LLC, proposer of Resorts World New York City Casino in Queens County and the City of New York. And be it further resolved that the board hereby adopts as its initial findings the attached selection of the New York Gaming Facility Location Board dated December 1, 2025, which summarizes the board's evaluation and selection of the applicants to apply to the commission for a gaming facility license. Be it further resolved that the board hereby shall issue the findings required by subdivision 7 of PML section 1306 and PML section 1321J with the intention of issuing such findings on or about 30 days following the adoption of this resolution. Be it further resolved that the aforesaid resolutions shall be effective immediately, and be it further resolved that the chair of the board be authorized to sign this resolution indicating the assent of the board and the contents herein. Vicky Bean,
Aye.
Terrell Brown,
Aye.
Cindy Ruby Estrada,
Aye.
Marion Phillips III,
Aye.
Greg Reimers.
Aye.
The resolution is adopted.
Thank you, Rob. The board wants to extend its appreciation to all of the applicants for their significant efforts with the communities and their commitment to supporting economic development in New York. We congratulate the selected applicants and wish them success in the Commission's licensing process and in the development of and operation of the proposed facilities. The board also wants to thank the community advisory committees and all those New Yorkers who participated in their processes or who filed comments with the community advisory committees or with the board. Tens of thousands of people participated and shared thoughtful and heartfelt concerns about, and as well as support for, allowing casinos to operate in New York City. The board's decision was, as noted earlier, constrained by the specific criteria the legislature set forth in the statute in response to a vote of the people of New York State to support the licensure of casino gambling in the state. Within that framework, the board took very seriously both the concerns and the hopes of those who commented on the proposals. Before we adjourn, I want to express my sincere thanks to Quinoa Abreu, Carlos Nadang, and Stuart Rabinowitz for their service as members of the board earlier in the process. The board also wants to thank the commission staff who are here today for their extensive and probing analyses, their superb organization, and extraordinarily astute and helpful guidance about the law, economics, and practical aspects of casino operations. We were aided enormously by their patience, by their helpfulness, and by their shared dedication to coming to the right solution. We were also aided by the perceptive, cautious, and clear analyses provided by our teams of consultants. We also appreciate the help of numerous state agencies that provided useful input regarding the applicants and the applications, including the Division of Budget, the Department of Environmental Conservation, the Department of Labor, Empire State Development, Energy Research and Development Authority, Office of Addiction Services and Supports, and Offices of General Services. So that concludes today's published agenda. Do any members have any new business that they'd like to present for consideration?
No.
Hearing none, this meeting of the Gaming Facilities Location Board is adjourned. Thank you all.
All right.
A little more emotion. A little more emotion. Yeah, they're real animated. These board, in case you couldn't tell, a lot of choreography. So. You good? Okay. Yeah, no.
It's a lot of microphones. Okay, thank you all. So we're gonna bring everyone in. Okay, thank you, Lee. So you have here the board and we're happy to answer any questions. So Lee, will you call in folks or?
All right.
Just wondering whether the location board considered the possibility of 3 projects would cannibalize the market. Is there too much competition, removing potential profits from each of them?
Absolutely. We certainly considered that. We had terrific consultants who did all kinds of analyses about where the market would come from, what the out-of-state market, the people leaving New York to go elsewhere, people coming into New York who would otherwise go to other places, the local market, et cetera. So we considered all of that and certainly considered the cannibalization question. We ask our consultants to be very, very conservative. And even with that very, very conservative look, they believed that the New York market is strong enough, is plenty strong to give the 3 casino licenses.
Yeah, hi. Just to sort of follow up on that question, did those same consultants evaluate the revenue projections that each project proposed? Because frequently, people who want to build casinos, they project extremely rosy revenues. They rarely meet that benchmark for long periods of time. How did y'all evaluate those projections? And did they think that those projections were accurate?
Thank you for the question. So we had several teams of consultants taking a look at in various ways. Again, we ask our consultants to be extremely searching and thorough, and we ask them to be very conservative. They disagreed with some estimates by the applicants and thought that they were quite high. So all of our estimates about the revenue potential are based upon our consultants' views, not the applicants' views, right?
Just to follow up on that, did not give you all pause that they were projecting higher revenues than what your own team was coming up with? It was like, hey, they're saying it's going to be X. We think it's actually going to be Y. Maybe we need to sort of look at this application a little more skeptically.
We did look at every application very skeptically. We understand that there are different assumptions that go into the projections, but we took a very, very searching look at all of those assumptions, and the consultants, we really put every projection through the paces in terms of what we knew about their performance in other settings, what we knew generally about the performance of casinos across the country, and what was expected in the New York market.
Hi. Would you mind just reiterating, if you have in front of you, I think during the meeting you gave out some top line projections from the report you commissioned. I think one of the numbers was $7 billion between 2027 and 2036. Was that revenue or taxes? Or would you mind just going over those again?
So our projections based upon our consultants, again, not on the basis of the projections of the applicants, but on the basis of our consultants' projections, as we discussed with them over a number of meetings and really kicked the tires on those projections. We project that there would be about $7 billion in taxes over the 10-year period, right? In tax revenue,
That's
not
to the state.
the gambling revenue, but tax revenue.
Yes, can you clarify for folks the next step in this process? Are you essentially taking these casino recommendations, giving it to the full board? Is it a rubber stamp at this point, or are they evaluating new information 2 weeks from now?
Thank you. And I just want to say it's the gaming tax revenue. There is additional tax revenue, 5.9 billion, that's expected over the 10-year period based upon, hotel taxes, that kind of thing, right? Okay, so the next step is that these applicants have to apply to the Gaming Commission. The Gaming Commission has a, wide-ranging set of criteria that they use, character and fitness, all kinds of things, ability to deliver. And it is not a rubber stamp. I can tell you, having now spent many, many hours with the Gaming Commission team, they are an incredibly hardworking, dedicated, thorough, exacting, and tough group to get through. And they ask the right questions. They evaluate information in an incredibly perceptive way. So I do not expect it to be a rubber stamp. No.
Would you characterize it as strong odds in favor of full approval now that you've recommended the licensing?
I am not a betting person, so I am not going to.
Can you take us through some of the concerns that came up while you were coming to your recommendations?
Sure. And Greg, do you want to jump in on that?
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of the concerns that you would anticipate looking at large multi-billion-dollar developments that are going to take place over the coming years. So these are all very large, multi-phase, complicated projects with hotels, restaurants, gaming facilities, and so we looked at each of them very closely. Obviously, looked at each of the sponsors. And feel that they all have relevant experience completing projects of similar size and scope, and felt a high level of confidence that they'll be able to deliver on their commitments. But each of the projects does entail a certain level of risk, as you would see in any large scale commercial development.
One concern one experience that all members of the board have shared is in terms of workforce development. And Marion, do you want to speak for a moment about our concerns about the ability to deliver local workforces, diverse workforces, and unionized workforces?
Each group really worked well with their CACs and worked well with the community and the local elected officials to make sure that the hiring numbers were representative of the communities that they were planning to build. You look at some commitments related to local, be it the county, be it the state. And I think one of the things each application did was really meet that goal. They also had looked at making sure they worked with various community organizations across the process to make sure they would meet their contracting goals that the state has already set up. And so I think each organization did a very good job of making sure they reached out to the communities, they reached out to the electeds, and then they worked with their CACs to make sure their workforce numbers were something that they could do to work with people, be it creating job fairs, training programs, and again, just really working well with the communities.
Anything that you want to add?
I was wondering if there were any community consultations with people, residents in the immediate vicinity, but also in neighboring populations. So for example, in the Metropolitan Park, were there discussions with residents in Flushing, Elmhurst, and Greater Queens area?
So the way that the legislature set up this process was that the community advisory committees were charged with hearing from local community members, soliciting input, holding hearings. And they decided whether or not the project should go forward based upon a 2/3 vote, based upon what they had heard. We also saw, we saw the Community Advisory Committee hearings. We looked at the thousands of comments that were received, but the decision about whether or not something served the interests of the local community was the decision of the Community Advisory Committees. And I just want to say, again, in answer to the question about concerns, we were very concerned and pressed hard on the question of, will you deliver on the commitments, will the applicants deliver on the commitments that they make to the communities, right? We insisted that if they made a promise to the community that they wanted to be considered, that had to be in their application. We reviewed the promises made to the community and thought about whether we were seeing them reflected in the application. And we've made very clear in the report that you will be seeing the kinds of issues that arose in those community meetings where we think there might be confusion or other things. And we believe that the applicant should be held to what was legitimately heard in the community meetings. If there was confusion or other things, the difference between a goal and an actual commitment, all of those things, we believe that the applicant should be held to that.
How are those commitments going to be enforced? Like, for example, hiring from the local community, how are those going to be enforced?
So as the next step of the process, when the Gaming Commission decides whether or not each of these applicants satisfy their criteria, they set out the terms of the license. The commitments will be part of the terms of that license, and the Gaming Commission is charged with enforcing the terms of that license. The elected officials who also made up those community advisory committees also can be sure that reports are being given, that they're monitoring what's going on, and that they are making sure that those commitments are delivered.
Hi, so I was sent this study directly from someone from the Metropolitan Park team from the University of Massachusetts that found, it was released October 2024, so it's recent, that 90% of revenue at casinos actually come from at-risk or problem gamblers. So where exactly are they looking for this revenue to be coming from?
That is, I appreciate that recent study. That is not the estimate of the number of problem gamblers in most studies. Nevertheless,
we're not unique to Massachusetts.
Understood. Nevertheless, we were very, very concerned about the issue of problem gambling. We pushed the applicants about what exactly they were doing. In the applications, we got a lot of very, what I'm going to call high-level discussion of problem gambling. We pressed them about exactly what they would do, and we urged that they and the Gaming Commission try to move New York more in the direction of what goes on in Europe and what New Jersey is considering, where there's more active intervention, not just making information available about resources for problem gamblers, but actually monitoring what's going on the floor and intervening and trying to help somebody with a sort of warm handoff to a source of help.
Well, I guess the question is, how are they going to reach their revenue goals if that's where a majority of the revenue comes from? 10% of it comes from recreational gamblers.
None of our analysis or consultants assumes such a high rate of problem gambling, because that's not what we saw in the literature.
Am I able to get access to that particular study, what exactly you've determined?
There are a number of studies about the share of gamblers who have a problem gambling, right? Who would qualify as problem gamblers, and we had access to that information, which we used and the consultants used in their projections. Okay.
Thanks. Just what do you say to the protests and protesters at the hearing specifically, and just about the idea that there's likely to continue to be protests as this whole process goes forward. Just your response.
So in my day job, I am a land use professor. I study these kinds of conflicts. There will always be conflicts over any major change in land use, period, right? There will always be conflicts. And I think certainly the goal of the board was to try to be as thoughtful and as expansive about those conflicts as we possibly could, to take those things into consideration to the extent that the statutory criteria allowed us to do so, and to be very sensitive to the very real world concerns that neighbors, that people who have experienced problem gambling or experienced problem gambling in their families, we understand that these are very, very difficult issues, and we tried to take all that into account while also taking into account the very real ways in which this gaming tax revenue can help rebuild our subway system, fund our education system, put people to work who are not now working. So it's a balancing act, and there will always be a variety of views on that balancing act.
Hi. When this process started, all of the proposals were spread out. How did the thinking change when it became clear that the proposals that were going to be before you were all in such close proximity? And what was the thinking around how putting all three of these in such close proximity might affect the communities around?
So our consultants did an enormous amount of modeling of where the customers would come from, so think about like a matrix. We did a matrix of if we give give a license to Bally's and not to Resorts World, how does that affect Resorts World's video gaming, right? We did an analysis of if we instead gave one license to Metropolitan Park, how would it affect the existing video gaming facilities? We did an analysis if we gave a license to Bally's and to Metropolitan Park, what would they take from one another? We did an analysis if we did all three, what would they take from another? So we did extensive modeling, and the consultants did extensive modeling of the way in which a license to any one of them would affect the gaming in the others, right? But at the end of the day, we believed, and the consultants' analysis uniformly showed this, that the market was big enough and that the three, even though they are relatively close together, they're very different in concept, right? Bally's with its golf course, Metropolitan Park with its sort of entertainment district, Resorts World with its existing clientele and the sort of repeat business that brings, that there was enough differentiation between them. And we also understood that these are three applicants who the market is also disciplining in terms of loaning them money to make the investments and that kind of thing, and that those disciplinary forces would also cause them to differentiate and begin to build business, not competing with each other.
How about how far these are going to affect the communities rather than just how much money the three of them are going to make?
Yes, that was all considered. It was considered in the environmental impact review. It was considered in terms of the traffic analysis, those kinds of things, right? It was also considered, we worried about it in terms of the workforce development, right? Can we draw locally, given the fact that several of them are both in Queens?
These goals that seem like promises, but weren't in the application, did you make your recommendation contingent on those coming to pass? And can you give a couple of examples of those kinds of things?
So we made very clear that we would not consider anything that was not in the application and that was not within the applicant's control. So some applicants talked about things that might happen in the future, like Aqueduct being, the racetrack being closed and that land becoming available. Resorts World doesn't control that. There would be a bidding process. The state will decide what to do with that land. So that was totally off the consideration because it wasn't in the application. It wasn't something that they could control. And so we did not consider anything about that in our licensing decision, in our selection decision.
Elsewhere in New York State and other places across the country, not only has revenue not met these initial projections, they have declined and tax revenue has as well. What did your consultants tell you about that prospect here, especially over 30 years with sports betting, perhaps cannibalizing casino revenue? And also, second question, I've heard you acknowledge concerns about creating and cultivating gambling addicts, revenue not meeting projections and having to be lowered. What are the benefits that you can tell the community that's here?
The benefits are tax, $7 billion in gaming tax revenue, $5.9 billion in other tax revenue that would otherwise have to be made up either by not having those kinds of programs, not repairing the MTA, not funding education to the level that it is being funded, and not providing for the jobs, the local business opportunities, et cetera. All of that is extremely important. Those are people's lives also. Those are people's jobs also. And they are the things that make our city and our state run. Some people would prefer to fund it through other kinds of tax revenue, but there is not the support for that there was in the public referendum for funding that through casino licensing.
And how about the initial projections declining over the years? What did your consultants tell you about that happening here too, as it's happened in Philadelphia, Boston, Chicago?
Yeah, I hear you. We were very concerned about that. We were very concerned about the impact of online gambling, sports gambling, and those kinds of things. We pressed the consultants to take that into account, again, to be very conservative, and believed that the market is strong enough, even if it declined, that the market is strong enough to deliver these kinds of projections.
Just to clarify, the 7 billion plus the 5.9 billion, is that over a period of a decade? That's not,
yes.
That's the 2027 to 2036.
Exactly.
So 2 of these casinos will not be done until 2030s.
Correct.
What is the expected tax revenue gain? Would there be an immediate gain seen in these areas that you talk about, the MTA, education, problem gambling? Would there be something seen right away?
So there will be something seen right away in the sense that Resorts World proposes to convert its facilities beginning as soon as March of 2026, and we'll start to see revenues, very quickly as a result. Now, Resorts World had a video gaming, video lottery, right, video lottery terminals that was already bringing in revenue, and that revenue was earmarked for education. As this switches over, and all 3 licensees come online, if they are licensed by the Gaming Commission, then that will switch over to more revenue going to the MTA until there's a sort of a meeting of the revenues going to the MTA and the hold harmless revenues that were allocated for education.
Is that immediate?
Immediately, I'm sorry, what is immediate?
On the approval of the Gaming Commission, did they provide money to the MTA?
No.
License fees.
License fees go, so each of the applicants pays $500 million in license fees, assuming a 20-year permit, that they pay $1.5 billion, right, into the MTA immediately. The gaming revenues that will come over time, those first gaming revenues, most of them still go to education because of the hold harmless. Is that correct? And then once all 3 come online, then more of it will start going to MTA at that point.
Just a clarification, the materials that the consultants provided to y'all, will they be made available to the public? Were they included in your final report?
That is a question for the Gaming Commission.
I think as much of it can be incorporated into the selection document as can be legally for exempt trade secret type stuff. That's not for me to say.
Is there any time frame for your report coming out?
Selection document will be posted this afternoon.
Is the $1.5 billion in the license fees included in the $7 billion?
No.
revenue?
It's additional.
You kept mentioning consultants. Can you walk us through who helped you with each part of this?
I cannot because I am terrible with names. I don't know.
It's on the website? Yes.
It's on the website, yeah.
It's on our newsroom.
Sorry, I'm very bad at mixing. There were a lot of people, and we were focused on grilling them, and so I'm not able to tell you each person's name. Sorry. Apologies to the consultants.
I believe some of the consultants were the same ones, because I reached out to one who was involved in the previous 4 that were put in the state. What did they?
I think that's accurate.
Okay. Well, either way, what did they tell you, the new consultants, if they are new? What did they tell you about what they learned from the other 4? I know that's different settings, rural settings, but like there's one that needs, I guess, a bailout from the county. What did they learn from those 4 that they helped you with these selections?
That's a great question. We asked them to look very hard at what each applicant had delivered or not delivered and what went wrong. Not just for these applicants, but in general, right? And not just upstate, but across the United States, right? So we asked that. It's a variety of factors, overly optimistic construction estimates. Sometimes people don't understand how hard it is to build in places. Remember that in some places, the selection process does not assume that you necessarily already have your entitlements, your land use entitlements. Land use entitlements are a major risk factor. Market downturns are a major risk factor. Inability to hire up quickly is a major risk factor. All of those things, the consultants looked at how they played out and what we could learn from that.
There are also, plenty of studies that indicate that obviously there's going to be people who have jobs. I forgot how many thousands of permanent jobs there were going to be with Metropolitan Park, but not everyone's going to be working at a casino, and the implications for the rest of the community that are living in proximity is increased rent, and concerns with affordability. So while it might create some high-paying jobs for a few people, the rest of the people in the community might end up suffering from the economic impact should it lead to increased poverty. So what exactly does the gaming board, how exactly did you guys determine that that was not enough of a risk to go forward with a recommendation?
So a couple of things. I mean, one is that the environmental review process does look at socio-demographic factors, including the effect on housing affordability, the effect on community displacement, all of those kinds of things, and did not find that there was a threat, in part because the hiring, each of the applicants committed to a very serious local hiring issue, local hiring commitment. And so would be people who already live in the community. So while that is always a concern about any land use change, any economic development activity, the evidence in the environmental impact review suggested that it was not a concern here.
Any other questions?
Yeah, sorry. Just did the fact that Steve Cohen's firm paid to settle insider trading allegations from the federal government a few years ago impact your decision at all to recommend he get a license?
No, because that is not our job. The job of determining the character and fitness and the integrity of the applicants falls to the Gaming Commission. Now that's the next step. So not part of the statutory criteria that the legislature entrusted with us, but something that the Gaming Commission will take very seriously, I'm sure.
Good.
Yeah, and then there's a soccer stadium being built in Willows Point, and also putting a casino right across from City Field might impact traffic. Just wondering if you guys extensively looked at that and how you guys project the traffic and the MTA is going to be going to City Field during game day next season.
That's a terrific question. The environmental impact statement did look very hard at those issues, as did we. We visited the site. We asked all kinds of questions about the proposed mitigation efforts that Metropolitan Park would make. The proposed mitigation seemed very promising, seemed like it would address the conflicts between cars, between bicyclers, pedestrians, et cetera. And the other thing is that that Metropolitan Park believes, and we found convincing, that having places to go once you finished once you finished the soccer game, or once you finished the baseball game, or once you finished the tennis match, then having additional food options, entertainment options, et cetera, would help smooth out the traffic in a way that would help to resolve those concerns.
All right, guys. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Thanks to the board members.